He's going to have faster upgrades. He's getting charged. And Colossus are now on the way. I would suspect that at some point, looks like Cyrus is going to clear out the walls here, but at some point, he's going to get double Robo. It just makes sense. Both Protoss eventually, when they're going towards 3 bases, want to get 2 Robos out. Even on 2 base, they want to get 2 Robos out. Let's look at the gateway count real quick. That's also really important. Looks like 6 gateways, 1 Robo for Paul. Then we have the second forge coming down, and we only have 5 gateways and a single Robo. So the production for Paul is better, and that's looks like why he has the advantage as far as supply is concerned. But I imagine that if Salheart decides to take this early third, he will skyrocket ahead in the economy. And something I really like about this game is I was really active on the map. I don't have this watchtower, but I have proxy pylons set up all over the place. You know, I spot the timings of most of what is happening with my observer. So I don't get the expansion too early, but I do throw down the second Robo, which my opponent is not. I'm working on 2-2, while my opponent is not even on 1-0 yet. He's halfway, about a little over halfway done with weapon attack upgrade number 1. And he's just now getting his Twilight Council. So it looks like Paul favors a heavier early Colossus count with more gateway units rather than upgrading the units then getting him. So basically what this means is Salheart's more vulnerable in the short term, but in the long term his advantage pays off. You know, the upgrades pay off in the long term. At the same time, Salheart's also getting that Templar Archives and going to get Archons out, which are really, really, really good in PvP because of the damage they absorb against Colossus, as well as pretty much destroying light units such as Zealots. It looks like finally Paul's going to go ahead and get charged, and then, oh, he has Blink queued up. That's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. You really shouldn't queue up big upgrades like that. It just really doesn't make a lot of sense. That money's just sitting there not doing much. Let's go ahead and check out the APM tab again. Yep, Salheart still doing pretty good on the APM, but it looks like Paul's catching up. He just didn't spam as much in the beginning, which I tend to do, again, like I mentioned earlier. But it looks like cannon's going up here. And the reason I'm doing this is because in PvP, a lot of times one of the players will get Dark Templar, so I'm thinking my opponent might. Even he's throwing up cannons at each of his base. Dark Templar can be a pretty big annoyance if they just get into the mineral line. I don't know if my opponent has thrown one down. No, I haven't seen a Dark Shrine yet, but in the future he might, because he hasn't invested in the Templar Archives yet. Which, by the way, if you look at the units, it looks like Salheart is basically caught up on all fronts. I don't know if maybe my macro is just better. Besides Stalkers, I'm doing really well on that. Probes are about even, and there's a Dark Shrine coming out from Paul. So, could be a potential for some DTs warping in. Now, the next stage of this game is going to be who takes their fourth. Now, the fourth for Protoss is when things get kind of out of control. Looks like Salheart's just adding an influx of gateways, 5 more on the way, as well as getting 3-3. Or 3-2. And 3 armor will be on the way momentarily. So in PvP, what ends up happening late game normally is, of course, lots of Colossus and charge slots as well as Archons. But an interesting development that I've noticed recently is players will tend to get motherships. Now, you might think that's strange because it's normally a PvZ style thing, but in Protoss, wait, is he just now getting a second forge? That's really delayed. Yeah, his upgrades 1-3. I don't know if I like that type of play, but it's hard moving out on the map. But like I was saying, in PvZ, yeah, mothership makes a lot of sense, but really the same thing applies to PvP. Your opponent has this huge death ball. A lot of the units are light. And even the units that are not, like Colossus, are still heavily damaged by Archons. Archons have so much damage. It's just ridiculous. I mean, 31 damage and then 43 versus biological. So this is a really huge damage output. And it looks like a Zealot tried to get in here to see the fourth, but I don't think No, he has not seen the fourth quite yet. Now, Stargate's going down for both players, so again, we're probably going to end up seeing some sort of mothership play, or maybe even carriers if it gets really late game. Now, Salheart has seen the fourth with that probe, and he's going to go ahead and push out. If we look at the supply, 7 Colossus to 6, 21 Zealots to 13, but Paul does have the advantage in Stalkers. So let's see how this fight plays out. It looks like, ooh, that was really bad by Salheart. He actually had most of his units on move command, and look at the positioning right here by Paul. These force fields that Salheart were trying to throw actually end up hurting his army. And the Stalkers on the low ground are just sniping this Colossus here. I mean, the Immortal is killing those Colossus, but oh yeah, it definitely looks like Salheart got the wrong end of the deal. But here comes the Zealots from Salheart, and these are going to basically clean up everything. Charge slots are so good against unprotected Stalkers and Colossus. The only thing that they're not really good against is obviously Zealot versus Zealot, but Archons as well. And it looks like Salheart's going to go ahead and cancel this base. Looks like some DTs are being warped in. I'm going to go back to the production tab. Apologize for that. And Salheart's going to have to get out of here because he does no detection. He doesn't want to lose all these Zealots for free. Really wants to get out of there. Okay, good. It looks like some probes are transferring to this base, but there is no detection. Does Paul? No, Paul does not know about it. Ooh, is he going to see these transferring? No. Okay, that's good. Extra Colossus on the way. Looks like an observer and some cannons are being thrown down in protection of those Dark Templar. Also, Salheart getting his fleet beacon, so he's going to be able to. A DT's going to come in here, but shouldn't be able to do that much damage. Ooh, the pylon does get outranged a little bit though, so he's going to kill a couple probes, but nothing too dramatic. Looks like a Dark Templar keeping track of this base, so Paul probably thinks that Salheart is only on 3 base, because again, he has not spotted this base at all. So he probably thinks Salheart's on 3 base, and he's like, oh, you know, I still have the advantage. My 4th is building right now. Salheart's is not even started. However, he could not be more mistaken. I mean, if you look at the production, because Salheart added all these extra gates, like if you look at the gateway count, even more coming right now, it's just so many for Salheart. Whereas, if you look over here in the base of Paul, I guess, you know, there's kind of an equal amount, but the double robo is really playing into effect here. There's no second robo for Paul, so he can't get those mass Colossus like Salheart is able to. Also, the mothership is halfway done for Salheart. Should definitely be chrono boosting that. And even a 3rd robo coming down. Really, I mean, you should have 3 robos. If you're on 4 base as Protoss, there's no reason not to. Because you're going to want to remax those Colossus as fast as possible so you can have the advantage. Like Salheart already has 4/2 and 3 more on the way. Once that happens, Salheart's going to have an extremely good army. And I'm not sure what the finally that Templar, wherever it was, morphed into an Archon. So that's good. And now we're just waiting it out. Salheart's adding on 5 more gateways, so he's getting ready to push out and make an attack. Looks like there was an observer or something that died there. Salheart also has really good positioning on this observer, so he can see where the army is. He also has this pylon here to spot this expansion. Looks like this pylon eventually got taken out by that DT. My map presence could be better for sure, but the fact of the matter is, Salheart's on 3-3. Paul's on 3-2. A mothership is out for Salheart. The Colossus count is 7-3. 5 Archons to 4 Archons. 16 Zealots to 14 Zealots. It's going to be very hard for Paul to hold this attack off, especially if he comes down this ramp. He needs to stay on this ramp so he can have some sort of positioning advantage, because right now he does not have the... And even a flank coming in with some Zealots. He needs to stay right here on this ramp so all those Zealots are funneled in. Ooh, and those Zealots are going to die very quickly, but I just don't know... once this mothership comes in, is there any detection? There are no observers on the map at all for Paul, and that's really unfortunate because he's not going to be able to see these units except with these cannons, but it's already too late. Paul has lost so much in this game, it's just not recoverable. And there you see the GG. Paul's going to GG out of this game, and that's the game. So wow, it looks like the main reason that Salheart won that game was, one, he had the 4th up for a lot longer. He added additional production throughout the game, so he had 3 robo instead of 1. He had about 15 gates rather than 10. And the mothership was out significantly faster for Salhart than it was for Paul. And you saw how that mothership played into the battle. It cloaked all the units, and there was no detection. All the observers kept getting sniped right around this area. Paul really should have came in from this area if you wanted to spot them. Maybe even come up here and around. I don't know, something else. And look, Salhart even preparing for a warp prism drop into the main while this push was going on. So if Salhart had not won the engagement decisively, he would have been able to eke out some sort of advantage, probably from that drop. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into this cast. My name is Justin Ballard. I am the president of Wildcraft, and this is a project that we're working on. So hopefully, we'll have some videos submitted by other players, some better players, hopefully. I am only high diamond, by the way, not a master or grandmaster or anything. We also will have some league games submitted, hopefully. Uh, that way we can have a little bit of variety because our club is composed of both League of Legends and StarCraft. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the cast. Leave a comment, like our Facebook at facebook.com/KSUWildcraft. Also check out our website at ksuwildcraft.com and just let us know. Give us some feedback about the games and what you want to see in the future. Alright, I'll see you guys later.